Well, good morning, everybody. All right, welcome to another Bloodhound workshop. And boy, it looks like we have a good, fair number of people in the room today. So good. All right, I hope you guys all brought a bunch of questions. Um, and let's see here. Yeah, there are definitely a few names in the room I do not recognize off the top of my head here. So before we get started here, let me ask if there's anybody new to these workshops or fairly new to these workshops and would like to hear the workshop introduction. All right, so the workshop introduction is I'll explain what we do and do not do in these workshops. I'll explain how the recordings work. And then the third item is, when questions are asked about, using certain indicators with Bloodhound, I'll explain, what indicators that I can actually install into my machine here. So, all right. So if anybody would like to hear the workshop introduction, let me know. So I'll get that out of the way first, and then jump into questions. So while I'm waiting for people to respond there to see if anybody wants to hear the workshop introduction, let me introduce the first question here for today. This question was emailed in. All right, so I always answer emailed in questions first in these workshops here. So that kind of helps, get things started there. And then after that, I take your guys' live questions in the Q&A window. So yeah, I guess if there is anybody new to these workshops, the chat window should be disabled. And I use the Q&A window, the questions and answers window. That way I can manage what questions I have answered and which ones I have not. Let's see. Yeah, Vaughn's asking, how do I send an attachment? I don't know. I don't think Zoom allows you to send attachments. So I'm not a Zoom expert. So I don't think there is a way in Zoom, but that's what email is for. So once you submit your question, and you can attach a screenshot to your email there, and we'll get that. So that'll work great. All right, thanks, Vaughn. Okay, so good. Looks like we have a question from Vaughn coming with the screenshot, which is always helpful. And, let's see. Adam has a question here. I'm going to just see if it's a quick question. All right, yeah. So Adam, just a second. All right, so Adam has a Blackbird question. So just to be clear, today is the Bloodhound workshop. So I won't actually answer your question in Blackbird, but what I'll do is I'll point you to a video there that will basically point you in the right direction, right, to adding a scale in contract. So and the last part of your question there, you've noted that Blackbird only allows you to enter into a trade once, and that is correct. That's a safeguard, because if you don't build your entry signals correctly, right, then you could submit so many trades that you'll get a margin call if you're you'll get a margin call if you're doing futures or stocks, so it doesn't matter, right? So to help prevent that, Yeah, Blackbird only executes the all the order sets per trade signal. And so in order for Blackbird to acknowledge the next trade signal, Blackbird has to be in a flat state, or the signal has to be in the opposite direction to reverse the trade. So, yeah. So, so what you're looking to do is understand how to scale in that second contract there. So that you have a second contract in there. And yeah, once you have that second contract or that second order set, then you can manually move. Yeah, if you place your entry order in such a location that it doesn't get filled, then obviously you can move your entry order around and manage it discretionarily. So, or if you're submitting a market entry, then then Blackbird does allow you to manually move your exit orders around, right, as you see fit here. So, all right. Anyways, let me find that video on scaling in here. Let's see if I have it on my quick list. Yeah, there we go. All right. So there's my little. I've searched for this many times on similar type of questions there. So let's do a little search for scale in orders there. And yeah, here you go. I guess that's a good one. There's a bunch of different videos on scaling in, right? Because there's lots of different situations in which you'd want to scale in. But this one is this one would be more of just a generic discussion on scaling in, on using Blackbird, for scaling in there. All right, so there you go. That'll get you started, Adam. And if you have more specific questions on that, then join me tomorrow for the Blackbird workshop. All right, so tomorrow is the Blackbird workshop. So, and all right, so again, this is on our YouTube channel here. And I just did a search for scale in orders. And that one, how to automate scale in orders there. Yeah, and just to make sure everybody understands. So I am now on the training workshops page here. All right, so to get here, just go to support. And you can see it's the second one from the top there, training workshops. So that's how you get to this web page here. And here is the workshop schedule. So Bloodhound questions are on Thursday, and then Blackbird questions are on Fridays tomorrow. All right, so there we go. There was Adam's question. And all right, let's see. All right, I'm probably going to slaughter your name. Sorry about this, but I think it's Hongfa. Well, I'll just call you Wu. So that's, I think I got that one right. So Wu is asking, he doesn't have the Shark Renkos, yeah, which is fine. You don't need the Shark Renkos. So he's asking if he can use the Unirenkos, and absolutely. So, yeah. And let's see here. So he's asking, yeah, what are the tick trend, open offset, and tick reversal settings there? Yeah, so yeah, to find out what those settings are, let's see here. Let's go to, yeah, let me pull up our web page here on another page. Actually, I think, yeah, you know what? I need to get rid of some of these screenshots from older, yeah, from last week. There we go. And get rid of that. Okay. All right. So to see what the Renko bar settings are for the Shark Renkos, right? You can go up to, actually go up to products. So right, normally you go to support, but Renko bars are so simple. Just go to products and then go to see, where is it? Bar types. There we go. Go to bar types. And so, yeah, so if you're looking for the Renko, the backtest Renko there you go. So there's the page for that. And down here, there you go. So there, under the data series properties, right? So, right, so there's your property settings. Excuse me. Man, I got a scratch in the back of my throat that won't go away. Yeah, so here's the, all the settings for the Renko bar there. And right there is the explanation for all that there for you, Woo. Alrighty. So just go down to the bottom of the page and it's right there. So, all right. So there's another quick question there from Woo. All right, let's see what D has. D is asking for the invite. No, we can't mail that out for legal reasons now. Countries around the world have gotten really have passed a lot of laws that actually, could get companies in trouble for doing that. So what you have to do is sign up their D on your own. So if you go to our website and go to support, and then down to the training workshops there, right? That'll take you to this page. And right here are the signups right there. So those are both the links to register for both workshops there. All right. So it sounds like you just need to register for Blackbird there. Yeah. So there you go. All right. And all right. So yeah, hopefully you got some questions for Blackbird there, D. Renato's asking, can we use this software on a Mac? Um, it's it. The short answer is no, but it's not determined by us because we are an add-on product to NinjaTrader. All right. So whatever platform, whatever operating system NinjaTrader runs on, then we actually run inside of NinjaTrader. So the platform, the operating system doesn't matter to the Shark software. The only thing that matters is if you can get NinjaTrader running, then you can get our software running. Although, yeah, there is an exception, obviously. Our installer is built for Windows, since NinjaTrader runs on Windows there. Yeah, I do know we have many customers who are running NinjaTrader inside of Parallels, inside their Mac there. So if you need help getting NinjaTrader running inside of Parallels, then contact NinjaTrader support, right? And they can help you out with that. I don't think anything special is needed to run NinjaTrader in Parallels, right? So, but yeah. All right. So hopefully that gets you pointed in the right direction there, Renato. Yeah. All right. Let's see if we have any other quick questions I can answer. Okay, so there you go, Ronaldo. Vaughn is saying, yeah, I think Vaughn's saying that, yeah, he's using NinjaTrader and Bloodhound and anybody else that makes indicators and whatnot for NinjaTrader. Yeah, runs fine on parallels with Windows 11. So, yep. All right. And Adam is saying, can we run Bloodhound in Linux? So same answer there, Adam. If you can get NinjaTrader to run in Linux, then you should be able to get our software, to run in Linux too. But I do know NinjaTrader does not make a Linux version. So as far as I know, they only make a version for Windows. So yeah, but to get more, to get the correct answer or a proper answer, yeah, you should contact NinjaTrader support and ask them if they support Linux. Let's see here. All right. And let's see. Yeah, Art actually has the first question. Let's see. No, Art, I've actually just been answering some quick little miscellaneous questions here. So we haven't gotten to your question yet. So, although, let's see. It looks like I am done with all the miscellaneous questions for now. So, all right. So let's dive into that first actual Bloodhound question here. Let's see here. All right. Let me pull the question up again. There we go. All right. So this question is a two-part question here, and we'll get into the why here in just a moment. All right. So Art has a system here that runs on two different time frames, right? So let's see here. So the first time frame is the Renko bar here. So I have a Renko chart up with these settings. And then the second time frame is a 30-second chart there, which I have over here, just so we have something to look at here. So the question is building these unique exit conditions within Blackbird here. All right. So on the Renko chart here, we can see we're looking to identify when the DMs cross in the opposite direction of the trade per se, right? So for example, right, we can see the Renko bars are in a downtrend. So if the DM plus crosses above the DM minus, then that is our exit condition to get out of the trade here, right? Somewhere around here. Right. And then vice versa. If we're in a long trade, let's see here. Where would be a good, where would be, here we go. Here's a good example. All right. Yeah. Say we're in a long trade here. Then when the DM plus crosses below the DM minus, right? Then get out of that long trade. Right. So there's our condition for the Renko chart. And then for the 30-second chart there, we're just looking to see, yeah, if price crosses above or below, right, this SMA with a 1 ATR offset there. All right. So unfortunately, I don't know of any indicator that allows you to add an ATR offset to a moving average. So this is just the moving average there. All right. So those are the right indicator exiting conditions. But the full exit condition here is determined inside of Blackbird here, right? So here, yeah. So inside of Blackbird, which this is the second part of the question, right? So tomorrow we'll finish answering this question in tomorrow's Blackbird workshop here. And the reason why this requires Blackbird is because depending on whether the trade is profitable or not, right? So Art is comparing the last price to the entry price, right? And so if the last price is below the entry, right? In other words, if it's a losing trade, if currently the trade is unprofitable, then we're going to use the DM indicator as our exiting condition there. However, if the trade is profitable, right? So the last price is greater than the entry, meaning the unrealized profits is positive, right? Profitable. Then use the SMA indicator to exit the trade, right? Use this condition here, the secondary time frame, to exit, right? And because the exit requires looking at whether the trade is profitable, or whether it's profitable or not profitable, right, in a loss, that has to be done inside of Blackbird, right? So just to be clear, NinjaTrader doesn't, for practical purposes, NinjaTrader doesn't allow your indicators to see if a trade is profitable or not. All right. Now, if you ask NinjaTrader that question, they'll give you a technical answer and say yes, they can, but it's not a true answer. Technically you can't, but the problem is what NinjaTrader hasn't figured out is how do you, the problem here is how does Bloodhound know which trade it should be monitoring? Because what if you have two Blackbirds running, right? How does Bloodhound know which Blackbird, right, it should be, or what trade? I'm sorry, not which Blackbird, but how does your indicator know what trade it should be looking at? And so there's some technical disconnects with that issue there. So what we're going to do today is we're going to build these exit conditions here in Bloodhound, and then we can have the Blackbird, depending on whether the trade is not profitable, if it's in a loss or if it is profitable, then Blackbird will decide which exit signal it will be looking at to decide whether to exit the trade or not. Right. Yeah. So today's part will be pretty darn simple there. All right. All right. So let's see. Let me move that out of the way here. There. Let's see here. All right. So let's get Bloodhound open for today. All right. So first thing you want to do, right, when you start building something, there is we want to create a file name here. All right. So hit the save, and there we go. I'll use last week's file name and we'll just update it. So, all right, March 6th. There we go. All right, save that. All right, so now that there's a file name in place for Bloodhound, now all the work gets saved to that file name. Let's see here. All right, and let's see. All right, I do need to add a 30-second chart here to Bloodhound. So yeah, I'll do that first here. So over here on the solvers panel here, there is an add chart button. So we can click that. There we go. Now we can see the secondary time frame pops up. And then over here on the left, I'm sorry, on the right panel here, we can set that actual time frame there. There we go. Oh, no, seconds. There we go. And all right, 30 seconds is our default there. So there we go. So now we have the two. So the default time frame is the chart that Bloodhound's running on, right? So Bloodhound is running on this Renko chart. So that is what the default time frame is. It's the Renko chart here. So, yeah. And now you'll notice here, Bloodhound says we need to reload the chart in order to get NinjaTrader to spin up this 30-second chart here. All right, so let's just reload that real quick. And there we go. All right, let's get Bloodhound back open. And I don't actually need this 30-second chart here. Just put that together for good measure. All right, so let's build the DM condition here first. All right, so let's see. All right, so this is an exit signal. So I always just use the keyword exit, and then this is going to be the DM crossover exit signal there, right? And so what that does is it names your logic template here. So, all right, so we just want to cross over. So we're going to go to our solvers. And since this is on the Renko chart, we're going to go to the default time frame, right? Again, remember the default time frame is our Renko chart, the one that, right, the chart that Bloodhound is running on. And then we're going to go and grab a crossover solver. There you go. Let's connect that in. And again, let's just verify what is crossing what for a long trade versus a short trade there. Yeah, so if we're in a long trade, we can see, right, the DM is going to be above, the DM plus is going to be above the DM minus. So, yeah, so if the DM plus crosses down, then we want a short signal when the DM plus crosses down, right? So if you're in a long trade, a short exit signal is used to exit long trades. All right. So if our exit signal is a long signal, it will not exit long trades. Only a short exit signal exit long trades, right? So you need we need an exit signal in the opposite direction of the trade, right? All right. So let's see here. So input A, we just want that to be the DM plus, and then down here, input B will be the DM minus. All right. So let's go put that in. All right. Do a little search for DM. There we go. There's our DM indicator. And So let's see here for a, yep, we're going to select the the DI plus plot there, right? So input A will be the plus DI plot. And then input B, we're going to do the same thing. Look for the DM indicator, select it there. And of course, I'm just using the standard, whatever the default period is here. So, so obviously make sure to, adjust your DM period if you're using something differently. And then next, we're going to select the minus DI plot here, both of them. Right, and there we go. So there are our exit signals, right? So if we're in this long trade here, then this short signal will is what's needed to exit a long trade. And let's go over here. All right, yeah. So maybe we're in a short trade here, in a short trade, and so this long signal is what's needed to exit a short trade. All right, so there is one of the exit conditions. So now let's do the 30-second one there, right? So again, if price crosses this SMA with an ATR offset there, and actually, All right, yeah. So there could be a potential issue with this. So yeah, when I read this, I was thinking of approaching this differently because of the ATR offset, right? The ATR added or subtracted from the SMA. And all right, yeah, I'll discuss what the issues are here in just a moment. But first, all right. So just wanting to name this solver here first. All right. So now this other exit condition here, I'm going to make a new logic template here. There we go. Hit the new logic. There we go. And so this will be there. All right. Price crossing over the SMA. Now, yeah. So what I just kind of realized, because I actually had a different idea as to how to approach this, is the crossover solver does not have the ability to add or subtract an ATR. And just like how we used a crossover solver, right, for the DM indicator here, using a crossover solver, for the SMA would be the ideal way to do this here. Excuse me. Let me take another drink of water. Just a sec, guys. All right, so yeah, so the crossover solver would be that's really what we want because as the uh, statement says, we're looking for that a crossover there. Um, however, yeah, the um, crossover solver, yeah, well, Bloodhound in general basically does not add or subtract um, offsets from your indicators, right? So, that's the job of your indicator, really, to have that. So we can't use the crossover here. So instead, actually, let me undo. I want to undo that because I want to remove this crossover here from the list. There we go. So yeah. So we're going to use instead, and this time we want a solver on the 30-second time frame here. So now we're going to grab a comparison solver here. And so the comparison solver does actually have an exception here where we can add one ATR. So let's see here. All right, so we're looking for price to cross over that SMA. So in input A, we're going to change the input type to price, right? And so I guess we'll just use the closing price of the bar there. If you want to use some other price other than the close, right, then uh, you could switch these to something like the low, right? You could use the low and the high prices of the bars, whatever bar prices you want to use, to identify that crossover. It's up to you. But let's just go with the closing price for now. There, and then input B is going to be the SMA there. All right, so let's open up input B, and we just need to change the period to 64 since the SMA is the default indicator there. Right. So we have that, and so now, right, with the ATR, the exception here is in the rules window. Here we go. So in the rules window, one of our offsets here that we have available to us is ATRs, right? So I can switch both of these over to ATRs there. However, this is a comparison solver, not a crossover. So it's not actually identifying crossovers per se, which, which my guess would be okay here. So the condition we're looking for is let's back up here and let's go back to our long trade. There we go. And actually, I am finding a use here for this 30-second chart. And let me switch. Yeah, get my crosshairs lined up. Here we go. Let's see, where are we? Hmm. Let's see. All right, so I guess I'll have to use this right here. All right. So let's see, what time is that? That is 8:50. Let's go find that on the chart here. Yeah, here we go. All right. So we can see on the Renko chart when the closing price crosses below the SMA here, right? Because when the closing price is above the SMA, right, we have a long output. And once that closing price crosses below the SMA, right, and this is on the 30-second chart, then, right, the output here, the Bloodhound output, switches from a long output to a short output. All right, and so remember, that's what we want here. So if, yeah, so Blackbird's not going to be trading on the 30-second chart. Well, actually, I don't know that, but assuming that Blackbird is trading on the Renko chart here, then oops, wrong one. Let's grab an arrow. There we go. All right, so assuming, yeah, Blackbird is trading on chart number 1 here, right? So we're assuming, yeah, Blackbird's on this chart here. Then when price on the 30-second chart, yep, crosses below our SMA, right? Our output's going to switch from a long output to a short output. Yeah, so remember, if Blackbird is in a long trade, a short signal is what's needed to exit that long trade. So yeah, so there we go. So, all right, let me just open this back up here. Make sure everything's correct. Let's see. Yeah, so we need to put in that ATR there, value. There we go. All right. Yeah, so also, I don't know whether yeah, I guess we're adding an ATR when in a long trade there. Yeah. So when the close, sorry, let me reverse this here. Sorry. Let's reverse this. All right. So we want a short output, right? A short exit signal when the close is below the SMA plus the 1 ATR. That's what I'm assuming here. So I don't have exactly, I don't know when we're adding or subtracting here, but you can obviously change these, right? So if we're adding 1 ATR to the SMA, right, that'll produce an exit signal a lot sooner, right? Let's just take a look, right? So over here, right, if we're adding an ATR offset, right, then that's going to put, the SMA value up here for adding to it, right? And then, of course, obviously, if we're subtracting, right, well, actually, if we're adding to the SMA, right, that'll produce an earlier exit signal, right? If we're subtracting the ATR from the SMA, right, then the exit signal will come much, much later. So, yeah, so I'm just going to guess that we're adding an ATR to it when we're in a long trade. We're adding so that a short output gets generated sooner. So just double check there. And you might want the equals symbol as well. So there we go. We can include the equals. So now if we look at things, right, what's going to happen is, right, we're going to get this period here where we're getting a long and a short exit signal together, right? Because obviously there's going to be times where that closing price is going to be inside this ATR offset range, right? Yeah. So when the closing price is inside of these two ATR offsets, then yeah, you're going to get a long and a short output together there. So yeah, so hopefully seeing this kind of explains why a crossover solver is more idealistic here. Um, because the crossover, let's switch back here, right? So our DM uses a crossover solver, right? We get this nice, clean, distinct exit signals. And that's a little cleaner to work with. Whereas if your exit signals look like this, right, where you have a long and a short output, then one of the Blackbird behaviors to be aware of is when you have a long and an exit signal at the same time, that tells Blackbird don't take a trade, right? Because you're telling it, okay, you're telling it to exit a short trade and exit a long trade here. So while your exit signals, have a dual output like this, that's telling Blackbird exit both long and short trades. And so if you're telling Blackbird to exit a trade, it's not going to get into a trade. So you got to make sure that your exit signals don't interfere with your entry signals, right? Because Blackbird can't arbitrarily decide whether your entry signal, is valid, even though you have an exit signal right on top of that entry signal, right? Blackbird's not going to make those decisions for you. So, yeah. So that basically, this is kind of the issue you can run into when you're using the comparison solver for your exit signals, is because you have all of these long continuous exit signals, and in theory, right, that could interfere with your entry signals. So yeah, so going back here, so so just a note here. Yeah. So if if this system here really had to use a crossover solver, right? If they had to use a crossover solver, for this condition, then you're going to have to find a way to add, you're going to have to find a custom SMA here that will add that ATR to your indicator and modify your indicator there, in order to use the crossover there. All right. So, the general rule of thumb here is that Bloodhound is not a math indicator. It doesn't modify your indicators that you're using, right? It doesn't add, subtract, or multiply or apply a percentage. It's the job of the indicators you're using to include all of those modifications to the indicator, such as adding, subtracting, finding a percentage or whatever it is, so just kind of keep that in mind, that really, that Bloodhound doesn't modify your indicators. So if you need to add some kind of an offset to an indicator, then that needs to be, that the proper way to do that is to build that into the indicator, right? So, Right. And also, I should name this solver here. And let's see. Oh, yeah, let me name the logic template as well. Yeah, here we go. All right. Yeah. So keep remember it's you need to it's always a good idea to name your logic templates so you know the difference right between the systems that are in those logic templates there. Right. So we have all right, so the exit DM crossover, right? That's exit signal number one or condition number one. And then our exit SMA 64, right? That's our exit condition number two, right? So, yeah, so that's it for the Bloodhound portion. And so the final setup here is going to be in Blackbird. And so in Blackbird, we can then build out these exit conditions here, based on whether the trade is profitable or not. Yeah, so we'll finish this up in Blackbird tomorrow there. All right. So with that, let me see if there's any follow-up questions on this. Mahesh is asking, what's the entry criteria? I have no idea. Art, yeah, that was not provided with the question there. So the question that came in was only about the exit conditions. Yeah. All right. Well, so that's it for the first Bloodhound question that I have. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm ready for your the rest of your questions there. So, if anybody has any questions, or maybe a follow-up question on this, just type them into the Q&A window there for me. All right. And we'll get started here with your guys' live questions. And let me just kind of clean this up here. Put that way. And that's right. All right. Vaughn had emailed in a screenshot here. Okay, let me check to see if your email came in. Yeah, there it is. All right. All right. Give me a moment to read Vaughn's question. Hmm. All right. So Vaughn, you've explained what you're doing, but you haven't explained to me exactly what this wick, um, what this wick condition, like, how does that translate to identifying a reversal bar? I have no idea how wicks identify a reversal bar. So I need you to explain to me how you've determined that a wick, identifies the beginning of a reversal bar here. But let me take a look at your screenshot here. Yeah, yeah, there. All right. So let me pull up the question here. There we go. All right. Yeah. So the question is, yeah, uh, yeah, to identify or generate an exit signal of some kind of wick that begins a reversal bar. Yeah. So what is this some kind of wick? I don't know what that means there. So yeah. So if you can specifically identify what this condition is, yeah, then we'll see if we can do that in Bloodhound here. But let me. Um, um, yeah, so I see you have reversal bars circled, sure. But, so the key question is, how do you know this was going to be a reversal bar, but not this one? See, this bar here had a really long wick. So how did you know that this was not a reversal bar, but this one was? Obviously in hindsight, sure, you can always tell a reversal bar in hindsight. But, as this bar was developing, how did you know that was not going to be a reversal bar? So, there we go. Okay, thanks, Vaughn. So, okay, all right, gotcha. So yeah, so one of these lines is your TMA indicator there. Um, I see. Uh, yeah, so it's really helpful that because I have no idea which one of these lines here, which one of these plots is your TMA that you're trying to identify. Um, so yeah, so just for reference, everybody, it screenshots mean a lot more when you turn off the other indicators, just temporarily turn them off, right? You don't have to remove them from the chart, but just turn them off, um, so that only the indicators that you're asking the question about are the only ones that show up, right? Because obviously, as you look at this, right, you're asking yourself, okay, what line's what here? Which is the line of interest? So it looks like the thicker white line or this green line. Um, but just a mental note there, guys, when you're sending in screenshots, yeah, trying to eliminate all as many indicators as you can before you turn them off before you take that screenshot. So, um, all right, let's see here. So we're already on a Renko chart, so that's good. Let me add a TMA indicator to the chart. And all right, I'll have to try and dial in this TMA here. 3. And also, let's see, I'm going to make 4. I'm on the NQ. Yeah, let me double this guy here and double that. There. Okay, yeah, let me take a look at Vaughn's follow-up comments here. All right, so yeah, so the white line below the blue line. Yeah, so we have two white lines, but it actually looks like the blue line is below the white line. Let's see, he's on the ES. Yeah. Let's see, it's a 12 bar quick pop Renko and a TMA 30. Okay, a TMA 30. Well, all right. Yeah, so let me try and get these to line up here. Yeah, let me switch instruments. All right, there we go. Hmm. Oh, sounds like we got construction going on down the street. That'll be nice. Um, okay, there we go. All right, yeah. So my new bar offset there, reducing that seems to have helped quite a bit. All right, we're kind of getting things dialed in here a little bit better. And yeah, okay, I'll go, yeah, with the 30 period here. So actually, yeah, this kind of works ideally in a couple of situations here. Um, yeah, So there we go, right there. That looks good. That looks good. Maybe that one. Didn't quite catch that one. Yeah, that one. Yeah, these two. And maybe even this one. All right. Okay. Um, all right. Now, hold on. Let me take a moment to look at the full question here because I only just copied an excerpt of the full question. Yeah. So okay. Yeah. So I actually, yeah, this is the key part I was looking for. Right. So you're stuck with the signal in the, yeah. So here's the key is I think Vaughn, so correct me if I'm right. Um your system, or I should say you with Bloodhound, you have with Bloodhound, you're running the calculate on bar close. And so the issue is how do you identify, right, these crossovers in real time when you're using on bar close? I'm guessing that really is what the question is more directly about there. Uh, Okay, yeah. So looking at this comment here, Vaughn's saying, yeah, so by waiting for the bar to close, yeah, he's giving up too much profit. Yeah, so he's trying to exit there a little sooner. Yeah, as soon as price crosses that moving average. Um, yeah, so um, to calculate is to calculate. You can't circumvent that. So you just have to change your whole system to work with on price change. So there's no workaround that I know of. Really, this is a NinjaTrader question as to how do you get two different modes to function in your system. As far as I know, there's no way to do that. Um, but yeah, you can contact NinjaTrader support and see what they have to say about that. But what I do in these workshops is I just change the calculate mode there to on price change, and of course that will affect your entry signals, yeah, as well. So yeah, so I'm assuming you probably know what the answer is here is you just need a crossover solver um, like that, and input A will be price like so. And let's see here. So if we're in a downtrend, we're using the high to generate a long signal. All right, so for a long signal, we're going to use the high price. So for a short, it'll be the opposite. So that'll be the low price. And then input B will be our moving average here. What did I use? I did settle on a 30 period TMA. So input B will be our TMA there, 30 period. All right. there. So by using the high and low prices of the bar, we can actually, yeah, see these signals here. Well, actually, yeah, in real time, you'd see them whether you use the closing price or not here. But you will, by using the high and low, right, you will identify, right, some of these other exit conditions here, like that bar right there, right? Yeah, so here's a couple more bars, right, that triggered an exit signal there, right? Whereas if we use the closing price, let's see here, let me do a reload here. There we go. So if we use the closing price, then you're only going to see, the signals on the reversal bars, really, ideally. So, right. So, just depends on, how you want to see the historical results there. Determines if you want to use the high and low price or the closing price of the bar. Yeah. So, again, one key thing to remember about exit signals is if you're in a short trade, you want a exit signal in the opposite direction of the trade. So for a short trade, you want a long output as your exit signal to exit that short trade, right? And so vice versa. So yeah, there you go. So if we're in a long trade, then you want a short output as your exit signal to exit this long trade, right? And just to make sure, since there's a lot of names in here I don't recognize, this is not an entry. This is going to be used as an exit. So this is not going to reverse the trade. Exit signals do not reverse trades. They can't enter a trade. They can only exit. That's why they're called exit signals. They only exit. So so don't get yourself confused when you're building these exit signals. And I guess some people start to think, misconstrue their exit signals as entry signals, but they're not. They're two separate signals. Let's see here. There, we almost had an exit signal right there. There. Kind of funny how a lot of similar questions all seem to land on the same day here, because so far we've got 3 exit signal questions for today. Yeah, it seems like everything comes in pairs and triplets. All right, so there we go. Yeah, so I guess in conclusion here, if your question is, how do you mix and match the calculate setting there? I don't know of a way. um, yeah, I don't know of a way to mix and match that. So yeah, you can contact NinjaTrader and see what they have to say about it. So, but as far as I know, you can't mix and match. So, all right, now let me finish going through the follow-up comments here from Vaughn. All right, yeah. So it sounds like Vaughn understands. Yeah, understands the calculate setting there. All right. Um, let's see here. So Vaughn's last comment is comment about using the signal blocker to avoid the tails during the trend. Uh, the I don't know exactly what you mean there, Vaughn, but I think I can. Um, I think I understand what you're trying to get at. And again, I guess I'll just reiterate what I've kind of basically said already is that, like in this example here, the signal blocker can't predict the future either. So the signal blocker can't predict whether this will be a false exit or not. Although, here we go. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is actually what you're getting at. Yeah, the signal blocker could um, eliminate exit signals early in the run. So yeah, so we could eliminate those, and we could eliminate that. Let's see. No, not with the signal blocker. Um, let's see. Well, actually, no. Maybe so. Let's see. Maybe so. Yeah. Let's take a crack at this and see what we can figure out. All right, so let's add a signal blocker. Right. So what Bond's getting at is, right, when we do get this crossover to, essentially block or eliminate these early exit signals, right? Like the ones I have um, uh, circled here. Yeah, let's see. Let's connect that in. So let's see. If we're going to try and use a signal blocker for this, right, you'll notice that what comes in is this is a long signal, but what you're trying to block are the opposite signals, right? So again, this reversal signal here is a short, right? And the two that you're trying to block are long signals here. So we actually need to enable the block opposite signal, right? So that way this short signal also blocks these long signals, right? And this long signal that was here would block the short signal there. And of course, so now with the signal blocker, you have to identify, how many bars after the reversal, do you want to block those early, wick signals there, right? So, let's see, what do we got here? 5. All right, so that's 5. Yeah, I'll just leave it at 10 there. But, and also, let's put this, I'm going to use this actively blocking output here. So this really doesn't have any function other than to help you debug the system, right? So this actively blocking output here tells you when the signal blocker is active. When is it blocking signals, right? So that way you're not trying to imagine all this stuff in your head, right? This active blocking gives you a visual output here that you can look at. So we can see here, so this is the active blocking output. So we can see, okay, the signal blocker has been blocking for all these bars. Okay, great. So we can now see that. So this helps you kind of debug your signal blockers there. That's what this does here. So yeah, so when you're building a system, yeah, I'd recommend you definitely kind of set this output here to like 0.1, 0.2, something really low, so that you can see it. And then once you have your signal blocker dialed in and working correctly, then, if you don't like this, you can just set it back to 0, right? And you're out, and that output goes away. So, but while we're setting this up, let's definitely put in there a 0.2. And so now we need to figure out the resets here because, yeah, we have blocking. Yeah, so here's the issue, right? So these, or I should say this signal here, right? If you look, the signal blocker is blocking, and then it stops blocking, and then another signal comes in. So it's blocking, and it actually blocked this reversal bar, right? It actually blocked it. And so the intention would be, if you do actually get a reversal bar, then we should, let's see. Yeah, if we get, well, yeah, if we get a reversal bar, we should reinitialize the signal blocking again. So, actually, yeah, so that actually poses an interesting question. Hmm. Yeah, so going back to, right, this reversal bar here, there's no way to reset the signal blocker before the reversal bar closes. And you can't reset the signal blocker and arm the signal blocker on the same bar. Um, so, yeah, so actually, yeah, this specific issue here points out that the signal blocker actually can't be used in this case. So instead, all right, let's just put that up there. So instead, what I'm going to use is I'm actually going to identify these reversal bars. All right, so I have a inflection solver, and the input type is going to be price there. And all right, yep, hold on, let's refresh. There we go. So there's our reversal bars. So this is the reversal bars is what initiates the blocking there. So, so instead of using the signal blocker, since we had this issue, we're going to use the opposite function node here, something that's counterintuitive, but we're going to use the signal extender instead. Right. There. And let's see, we also need let's see here. So let me back up here. So I got, there's a lot of moving parts here going on. So, all right, so keep in mind that this is producing a short, right? Yeah, that's producing a short there. And right, and of course over here we have logs. Yeah, I really like this new feature here of making your markers a little bigger there when your bars are really tight. That's nice. Yeah, so this reversal, right? Well, actually, yeah, okay. There you go, problem solved. Yeah, I was going to overcomplicate this here just for a moment. So, right. So normally, let's see here. Oops. Swap is off. There we go. All right. So, right. So normally when you get a reversal bar up, right, you get a long output, reversal bar down, you get a short output, right? But again, we're wanting to block this short exit signal, but right, but this blocking is initiated on a long, right, reversal up signal here. And so when we extend that, right? We're taking and there, make sure I got those all turned off. Um, yeah, so when we're extending this, and all right, why is that not extending? Hold on, let me reload the chart here. There we go. All right. So um, so we're extending right along output. And so this actually doesn't yeah, wait. Yeah, I'm trying to think of a good way to explain this. Yeah, because this is really getting complicated. We're having to manipulate our outputs here a lot. Um, so, yeah, the short of it is since we're wanting to block a, um, a short exit, the signal that we're extending also needs to be a short. So, again, that's counterintuitive, which is kind of why I'm pausing myself here to see if I can find a better way to explain this. Right. So when we look at the original, right, reversal bar signal there, it's a long. So we can just use the swap option here, right? So this is our inflection solver, and I just enabled the swap, right? And now we can see all of our signals are reversed. And so now when we look at the signal extender there, um, yeah, you know what? I think, yeah, I think today's volatility has just got so many bars on the chart that it's taking Bloodhound a moment to process everything. But we just hit a 5. There we go. So now we have this short, right, reversal signal extending out for, X number of bars, however many bars, you think you need to. You need to nullify, right, these wick signals here. And then with that, so now that we have an output in the direction of the signals we want to block, we then take our signal extender and invert it. All right, that's not the output I was expecting. Hold on, there we go. All right. So now this is what we want. So we actually want an absence. And the reason why we're working on developing an absence of short signals is because we're doing a workaround for the signal blocker, right? So now that we have an absence of no short signals there, and also the same over here. So for this downtrend here, just to include this to help us, visualize everything, right? We also have an absence of a long output there. So now we can take that with an AND node. Right. So remember, with an AND node, everything going into it has to have the signal, or they all have to have the same output. So if our signal extender does not have that short, then that means that short exit cannot pass through the AND node here. There, like so. And so there we have it. Yeah. So that one got through. Let's see, where else do we have some wicks? Yeah, there we go. That one got through. There we go. So that one was prevented, right? That exit was blocked there. Same here. That one was blocked. Yeah, there you go. There's another one that was blocked. Right. And again, remember, I have the signal extender working to block for 10 bars there. Right. Yeah, that one was blocked. Right. So there we go. So yeah, so again, so the way, yeah, we're using the signal extender to block these early exit signals, right, is we're identifying the reversal bar, right? So let's just take a summary explanation of this again, right? We're identifying all the reversal bars, but we are taking the opposite signal, right? The reversed signal. So this is a down bar, but we're getting a long output instead because we're trying to block this long exit signal here, right? So we're taking that and then we're extending, right? We're extending that long forward, but we're also inverting it. So let's turn off the invert there. And yeah, it looks like I have to keep refreshing the chart here. So, right, we're taking that long reversal, right, that reversed reversal bar signal, extending it forward, and then we're inverting it so that we remove the long output. All right, so there we go. So with our signal extender, we are, oops. Yeah, you got to make sure you only have one node selected here. And then hit the invert there. And again, let's refresh this. There we go. Right. So now we have that absence of a long output. And so let's move that over. Yeah. And so remember, this is our exit signal right here, right from this node here, right? And that's a long. And so when there is no long on this bar, yeah, let's see, where is it? There we go, right? So there's no long output here coming from this part, then the AND node removes the exit signal there. Right. So there is our exit signal. If we look at just the exit signals, but then with the AND node, and our removal logic. I guess you could call this, the removal logic there. And there we go. So let's see here. The last thing I'm kind of thinking about, yeah, last thing I'm thinking about here is the calculate setting. Um, yeah, so these, yeah, so this exit, uh, is to occur in real time. Um, yeah, and the way this is all set up is, yeah, so I'm pretty certain, yeah, this all is set up um, correctly to work with the calculate on price close. Both on price close and on bar close. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just pausing here to take a moment to kind of rethink the signal blocker approach. Um, let's see, where was that? There it is. Okay. Yeah. So I guess let me kind of give uh, an explanation of why the signal blocker doesn't work here. So we're right. So we're looking at what we're seeing on the chart, right, is just um, the the core exit signals there, right? And so when we get an actual reversal bar, right, it's a long output, which is the opposite of what we're trying to block. And so so that is why the signal blocker doesn't work in this specific situation here. So remember, the signal blocker was its original uh, uh, intention and purpose is to block unwanted entry signals, right? So when you're doing that, right, your first signal that activates the blocking is always going to be in the same direction of the signal that you want to block. Yeah, but in this particular case, right, we actually have a long up signal that we're trying to use to block, um, which, which I just kind of realized, again, I think I might have overlooked or, overcomplicated this. Um, Yeah, so actually maybe there is a simpler solution here. Let me take an OR node there. All right, yeah. So remember, this is a long exit, right? This long exit here, right, is because of this downtrend. So with the OR node, so I don't want to modify the exit signals, right? These are correct for producing an exit. So I don't want to modify this. So I'm just grabbing an OR node, and I can modify that. I can hit the swap on the OR node here, and let's take a look at that. There we go. Yeah. So now we can see, right? This has been reversed, right? This is now a short. And so if I feed that into the signal blocker, and I'm going to turn off all the resets here, turn all those resets off. And oh yeah, sorry again. That oh yeah, even that doesn't. Yeah, that's right. That doesn't work either because um, yeah, I'm blocking shorts. Yeah, the signal blocker is now blocking shorts, but it's not blocking these signals coming in because remember, so when I reversed it here to the input, it now reversed this exit signal, which is wrong, right? We need this. Yeah, we need this short signal. That's our exit, but it's been reversed and it goes into the signal blocker reversed. So now the signal blocker, what comes out of the signal blocker is that reverse there. Yeah, so that doesn't work. All right. So, all right. Yeah, the signal blocker still doesn't work. Yeah, because of this. Yeah, again, signal blocker doesn't work because the the reversal bar, which is activating, the blocking of the first couple of bars here, that activating signal is always in the opposite direction of the next sequential exit signals. So, yeah. All right. So, we're back to the original idea here. All right. So that one, yeah, definitely was a mind bender for sure. So, all right, let me clean up here and see if there's any follow-ups on this. Um, all right, yeah. So Vaughn was asking, go over the inflection solver and the signal extender so you can take screenshots. Yeah. So hopefully I did that enough. I think you got it. Yeah, it looks like you got it. Okay. Um, there. Right. Let's see. Well, all right. I don't see any other follow-up questions on that. Another exit signal question. So, all right, let me keep moving on here. All right. So let's see. Wu is asking how to combine two exit signals as one using and. No, and uh, I think probably the simplistic way of thinking of an and is it actually filters out stuff. It removes, it prevents. When you want to just combine things with no just an absolute combination, with no filtering or anything. That's what an OR node does. Yeah. Um, all right. So Woo's going back to, yeah, these two exit signals here from the first question, right? So we had a price crossing over the SMA and no, I'm sorry. Oh, wait a minute here. I think, yep. Yep. Oops, somehow I got rename this solver wrong. Hold on, let me rename this solver here. So there we go. All right. Yeah. So we had this DM indicator crossover exit signal, and then this price crossing over the, or yeah, not crossing, but above or below the SMA. So to combine both of those, well, Blackbird will combine them for you. So since these are ultimately to be used in Blackbird, um, yeah, Blackbird will combine them together. So if you specify multiple exit signals in Blackbird, it combines them all together as if they're one exit signal. The same thing with your entry signals. Um, if you set up a bunch of entry signals, like different Bloodhound entry signals, Bloodhound combines them all together as if they're one entry signal. Right. So, but the actual answer to your question here is I'll just demonstrate. Let's drag this one over here. Right. So these are the two solvers here for those exit signals, and you would use an OR node like so. Yeah. So hopefully, when I was explaining this last question here, I did kind of dive into the AND node logic a little bit to explain why we had to invert the signal extender. So hopefully my explanation, of why we used an AND node and an inverted signal extender, yeah, hopefully that kind of explained a little bit about what the AND node does. So yeah, so definitely when you're combining signals together, you always use the OR node. Okay, so we got that one. And let's see what Adam has net for us. Oh, Adam, I'm going to hold on to your question there for last, since that's kind of an off-topic question. Let's see what Renato's has. So yeah, sorry, Renato, I'm not sure what you're referring to when you say to build them. Yeah. Um, but you know, generally speaking, that's what these workshops are for. Is these workshops provide step by step, explanation of what's being done to build, you know, to build the logic, for the questions that are asked in this workshop. Yeah, so that's what all these workshops are for, is to give you those specific step by step explanation and instructions on building whatever the question is. So yeah, so far in today's workshop we've only had really exit signal questions. Yeah, I haven't had any questions about building an entry signal yet. But yeah, so I guess let's let me close that out. Oh, actually, let me go back here. All right, yeah. Um, so all of these workshop videos, yeah, are step by step, instructions there. Uh, so if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, right, to the recordings, you can see there's a master list here of the Bloodhound workshops. There's also a list for the Blackbird workshops, right? And so all of these recordings here are step by step explanations of of how to build stuff. So yeah. So I think usually, what gets people interested most is, just diving straight in and learning how to build exactly what they want to build. So, just kind of figure out, what type of system is it that you first want to build, and just put, some keyword descriptions in there. Like an obvious one would be an opening range. If you're interested in building an opening range, we can just type that in there, hit the search button, right? Then that opens up YouTube here, and there's our search in YouTube. And then, yeah, here's basically a bunch of videos that are somehow related to opening range. And those will give you step by step instructions. Well, except this one. Actually, this is, what is this? Yeah, this is from Chris Lassen. So this is actually, I think, a sales webinar from Lizard Trader. So, but here you can see this is a Bloodhound workshop, the Bloodhound workshop. Um, Again, that's a marketing one. Here, Blackbird workshops, Bloodhound, Blackbird, right? So those are this, yeah, Bloodhound workshop, Bloodhound, Blackbird workshop, um, Blackbird workshop. Yeah. So, yeah. All right. So hopefully, yeah, that kind of gets you pointed in the right direction there, Renato. So also, um, don't be shy about using support. So if you're not able to find a video on, whatever the topic is, whatever the trading system is that you're wanting to build, and you're having a hard time finding a video on that, email us, and we can try and help you look for those videos as well. So, all right. So, let's see, where are we at? We're at the 2 hour mark. All right, not too bad. So, yeah. So I'm out of Bloodhound questions for now. So if anybody else has any more questions, go ahead and get those typed in there for me. I'll hang around for at least 5 minutes or so, at least, waiting for more questions. But in the meantime, let me answer Adam's question here. Oh, well, hold on. Vaughn is asking, yeah, how do we request today's raw posting? Yeah, so just email support and just ask us to upload today's workshop there for you. And so whenever somebody asks us to upload the recording, there's only one place that goes to, and that's the Shark Indicator Raw channel here. So just email that in, and that'll get uploaded there for you. Let's see. All right, so back to Adam's question about the next release. Oh, with the optimizer, I don't know. Yeah, it's too early. It's still a little too early. So, we have been. Let's see here. Yeah. So I'm gonna go over to the changelog page here. Yeah. So the optimizer version I had to kind of take a back seat while we implemented. Jeremy wanted to implement a bunch of hot fixes here to the current release version here. So I think we're just about done. We have one more hot fix update coming out here. It's probably going to be 38 or 39, maybe 40. I'm not, I don't really know until it's actually done, but somewhere there. I believe it's pretty close. I think there's just one remaining subtle issue to get the next hot fix out. And then I believe we're supposed to switch back over to the optimizer update there, the optimizer version. So, and I would guess that that's going to be we're going to spend at least a month working on the optimizer and testing it and whatnot. Yeah, before releasing it. So there was an update. So if you are on our beta testers list, so if you do want to beta test the optimizer capabilities there, you can join our beta testers list, and then you have access to that update there. So the optimizer, the version number for the optimizer will be 8.3.3. So we're going to go from 3.2 to 3.3 when the optimizer is released. Right. Let's see here. So let me see if I can pull up Discord here. All right. Yeah. So on Discord, we have a beta channel here that's private for beta testers only. And so in there, so as a beta tester, you can get access to that beta version if you want to play around with it there, Adam. So, but otherwise, yeah, it should be approximately a month after we get this last hot fix out there. So again, I'm on the changelog page here. All right. Well, now the Q&A window is completely empty. So I am out of questions. And it's been over 5 minutes since I asked if there are any more Bloodhound Workshop questions. So I'll give you guys another minute or two just to make sure there's no more Bloodhound questions. All right. So the way these workshops run is the workshop runs almost as long as necessary to answer all the questions. Usually around 4 or 5 hours. You know, at some point my body tells me, all right, I need to take a break, go get some lunch, you know. And so I think that's only happened once or twice in these workshops where, yeah, they just went too long and I just had to, you know, stop, even though there were more questions. But yeah, basic rule of thumb is the workshops keep going as long as necessary to answer all the questions. But once the questions kind of dry up, you know, and there are no more questions and I'm just hanging around doing nothing, then that is my cue that we're probably done for the day. And that's how I know when to close up shop is I just run out of questions and I'm waiting here for you know, at least 5-10 minutes or something like that. So all right, guys, so a couple more minutes to think of some more questions and keep the workshop going. Otherwise, I will wrap it up. And good, Vaughn. I'm glad. I'm pretty sure you're probably a new Bloodhound user, so you'll definitely get a lot out of these workshops for at least the next 6 months, you know, and then somewhere around that period, you'll probably kind of realize, you know, you're seeing a lot of the same questions over and over. And, you know, during those 6 months of watching these, you know, you'll have just seen using the comparison solver, inflection solver, slope solver, you know, whatnot, enough times to where you've got a good handle on how everything operates. Then by that time, you probably may not need the workshops anymore. All right. Well, I can see the room is kind of thinning out here. Yeah. So that also kind of clues me in that we're probably done with questions for today. So, all right. So, yeah, I'm going to wrap it up here. So, if you want a copy of, yeah, if you want a copy of today's Bloodhound file, you can either email support and ask for a copy of today's Bloodhound file, just like you can email support and ask us to upload the unedited recording, right? The raw recording there as well. Or you can also, you're supposed to also be able to get a hold of all of these files here on the template files page, right? So if you go to support, right there in the middle, there is a template files page there. So this is the depository of all the right Bloodhound files, the Blackbird files, um, and also NinjaTrader chart templates as well, those files as well. So yeah, so you can go into the Bloodhound section here and then sort by date. Yeah, sort by date there. And yeah, actually, yeah, so you can see, yeah, it looks like we're a couple of workshops behind there. But yeah, this is where you should find it. So if you're not finding a Bloodhound file here on the list, then again, just email support there. So, and Mike can get that for you. So, well, all right. Well, gentlemen, with that, I'm going to close up shop here. So we do have in tomorrow's Blackbird workshop, we're going to finish setting up Art's question here. Yeah, we'll do the Blackbird portion tomorrow there. All right. So if I don't see you tomorrow, then have a good weekend, everybody. All right. See you next time. Bye bye.